Alright, so we got a line back here again. What are you playing?
This is going to be my true Cosmos deck profile.
Alright, well, let's get right to it then.
Alright, so for my true Cosmos, we're going to start off with the ships. We have Eclipser, Destroyer, 2 Forerunners, and 3 Slip Riders. I think this is a really good ratio because you use Diagram to pop your ship and you get to the least special summon and you get turn 1 Masterpiece just off of that. Your big ships, great to come out, especially like if you're going against Paleos or anything that you're afraid of any traps evenly matched or anything. This can counteract it, especially if you used Tin Can's effect to get this, because all you gotta do is banish one of the Cosmo monsters in your graveyard and you get to negate it. This is great. It's down to 1 for a reason, because you pop any monster on the field once it's summoned, normal or special summoned. This gives you 1,000 life points, so you're spending a lot of time spending life points on yourself, especially with the Solemn package and with the Pilot's effects. So regaining is nice, and the great thing about these 4 ships is they are untargetable, so none of those 4 ships can be targetable. And then these 3 is your MST. You special summon it or normal summon it, and you pop any back row that's annoying. So that's for ships. Your pilots, I run 2 Tin Cans, 2 Strawmans, 1 Farm Girl for the OTKs, 1 Wind Witch to make sure I have a monster on board and it can't die, and to negate the effect of a monster. So if Ash comes out, pay 1,000 life points, can't be used.
So let me ask you, some other deck lists that I've seen, they play 3 Tin Cans. How come you only play 2?
I play 2 only because we have it mixed. If it's pure Cosmos, you definitely want to play the Turbo Tin Can version, but I'm only playing 2 because I play True Dracos in it, and with having a 3rd one, you kind of don't want to see it. You want to see this in your hand just to be able to get a ship, and then once you have a ship, you're hunky-dory. You have Diagram to pop everything, and you get Masterpiece and a huge ship on board.
All right.
And then my MVP is actually Cosmo Strawman, especially with you pop it, get a ship popped, especially if you're going turn 2. Instead of special summoning off of the ship's effect another monster, you go for Strawman. Strawman's effect to pay 500, you get the ship, put it right out there, and you get Masterpiece on board. So you have a big ship and Masterpiece on board, and you're good to go. So that's it for the Cosmo monsters. Now for the two Draco monsters, I played two Masterpieces and just 1 Maiden. Maiden's there to get me a Masterpiece, and I want to get Masterpiece as quick as possible. And with under the effects of Diagram, she's at 2,600 as well. That's it for the monster lineup. Now for spells, I play 3 Diagrams, 2 Cosmo Towns, 3 Terraformings, and 1 Set Rotation. Now the reason I play the 1 Set Rotation is because you give yourself Diagram, you give them Cosmo Town. But guess what? Cosmo Town's effect is if it's destroyed while it's in the field zone, I get to resolve it because it goes to me, and it got destroyed with Masterpiece's effect, and I get to search a Cosmo card just off of that. So that's why I set rotation, and there's 4 chances to get something on board to try making a play. Next up, I have 3 Heritage, because you're always putting a lot of cards into the graveyard, and the draw effect is so nice. And the reason I play 3 of these and not 3 of these is because I would rather resolve 1, like draw 1, rather than have to wait for at least to have 3 in the graveyard. If I have 3 in the graveyard, I'm pretty much done, because this is pretty much what I have for the spell, or the True Draco spells, and then I run just 2 True Draco traps. So the engine's pretty small, because for Cosmo you need a lot of the Cosmo cards. Next up, I have 2 Gravekeeper Servants.
Really? What does that do?
So it's pretty unique. It's so your opponent cannot attack unless he pitches a card. So every time he or she attacks, she has to pitch a card from the top of the deck. So I have it for a continuous spell, so I can get True Drake Masterpiece on board. But on top of that, I feel it's nifty to have them just waste their resources that way, especially if you're going against anything that really relies on not putting stuff into the graveyard. This is great.
Do you side this out when you play against 60 card decks then?
Yes. You definitely side that out. If I play against Infernoids, if I play against Lightsworns, I don't want them to to be resolving those effects. And last is Emergency Teleport. It's a great card to have, especially when it's when you don't have anything in hand and you need a tin can or a straw man to continue your plays. This is great. These last 3 cards are actually the 3 cards I would side out for the for Winter Cherries that are in the side deck. Now for the traps, I play 1 True King's Return because you got to get Masterpiece back on board. It's great. And 1 True Draco's Apocalypse because both the second effect is to be able to special summon Masterpiece or Maiden from hand on your opponent's turn, which is great because it interrupts them. It just what happened? And then when these go to graveyard, you get to pop a monster, which is phenomenal. Now, 1 Call of the Hunted to get your big ships out and your Masterpiece back out. 1 Skill Drain. So I play Skill Drain in this deck just because all of the pilot's effects to pop out and tag out for ships in your hand or other stronger pilots. It's a cost effect. So once they're off the field, they're not under the effects of Skill Drain, so they can continue on their way. And there goes a ship on board. And then it stops your opponent many times. And then for Masterpiece, Masterpiece is already at 2950 beat stick, and if I wanted to, I could just take out a trap card, and he's unaffected by Skill Drain. And last but not least, the Solemn Package. Very, very good to have, especially with rogue decks. Rogue decks suffer from trying to be and put out plays and stuff like that, but this makes it possible. Stopping, man, I don't know how many times somebody said, I'm pen summoning 4, and I'm like, cool, and guess what? All 4 of those cards go away. They can't even activate any of their effects. It's phenomenal. Now I'm gonna go to the extra deck. So I don't really go into the extra deck. You just don't. And the only time I ever do, it's with Slip Rider. Slip Rider is level 5, or any the other pilot that's level 5. And when you have that, you go. Oh, actually, you can't even do it with the pilot. I'm sorry. You can only do it with Slip Rider. So with Slip Rider, I go into your Nova and your Infinity.
Yeah, this card is disgusting.
Disgusting. And when you have 2 Slip Riders on board, just go ahead and go straight into that. 2 level 5 machines. Great. And then if you have 2 of the level 7 ship, which is I can't think of the name right now. You go into Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Great for burning.
Especially it stops spirals on the spot.
Yeah, because they all use effects, and so they're not going to want to go into that. And then you have your generic Proxy and Decode. Now, the rest of my extra deck are cherry targets.
Let's do it.
So you have Borlo, Try Get Wizard, Beals, because that's going to be the newest thing coming out now, especially with Magicians going to get that buff. You want to get rid of that because Masterpiece can't do anything to it. Most annoying card, playing against somebody.
Especially Pendulum Magicians, where in one turn they can summon 2.
3. They
Up
do
to
2
3.
or 3. Yeah. I've happened where I'm just like, cool, I have a hand of 5, and then on turn 1, I only have 2 cards left, and then I'm only playing with 3 for the next turn. It's retarded. Next is Trish. Trish is used in an array of decks, and I don't want them to banish my stuff.
Banishing is bad for
Totally awesome. I don't need Totally Awesome negating my stuff and destroying and then taking it off my hand. And if an ABC player doesn't have this, he's scooping. He or she is scooping.
Yeah. Any shoutouts?
Actually, I have my side deck left.
Yeah.
So for my side deck, I play 2 D barriers. Very good for pretty much any deck that spams their extra deck. And then for the Pendulum Magicians, 2 and 3.
It's also really good against Spirals too.
Very good against Spirals. So
they stopped their sleeper, I think.
Correct. So what happens is you have this face down, Sleeper's effect to target himself, and a card on your side of the field. You go ahead and chain, use that, and pretty much it pops. Since chain resolve backwards, this pops the resort, and it pops last resort, which means he has to. So that means when it resolves, he destroys himself, and when Sleeper's effect is if he is destroyed by card effect, the entire board is nuked for your opponent. Phenomenal. So you have these Regeki for sure. Then you have your kaiju package and your cherries, and that's the side, and that's pretty much my deck for the True Cosmos.
All right, let's get some shout outs out.
I definitely want to give a shout out to STR, man. It was just pretty much just a Yu-Gi-Oh chat. We just came up together, and we just decided to start doing something, start making. We all play rogue decks, so we're just trying to get out there and try winning tournaments and stuff like that with just pretty much rogue decks, and it's phenomenal. It's great. It's a great group of guys, and love them to death. And I want to give a shout out to my girlfriend. Man, she supports me in this. She gives me money sometimes just to do shit.
Don't lie. Yu-Gi-Oh players don't have girlfriends.
That's what you think. And no, that's pretty much it.
All right then. Take care.